Hello everyone and welcome to the second video from the series Tips and Tricks for a Realistic City, in which I will cover the commercial and office buildings and how you can place them so your city will look more realistic, organized and well planned, using methods inspired from real life scenarios and a very detailed spreadsheet that I created just for this purpose. If you haven't watched the first episode in which I covered the residential buildings, you should definitely do so by clicking the link in the top right corner. Now let's begin! I'm gonna start with the first category of the commercial zones called low density business. The most traditional method for placing commercial buildings is just to place them along a medium or large road to make the transition between the calm and quiet houses to the big and busy roads. Not only that, but placing them along the larger roads or so-called collector roads makes for a nice and uncongested shopping experience for the citizens. One thing I always like to add here is if you look closely at the back of the buildings, you will see that they have all kinds of small details like employees access, warehouse access, emergency exits, employee parking lots, garbage bins, etc. And to make this look like they lead somewhere, I like to place a small road in the back of them to make for a more realistic look and to help with the garbage collection. Besides, it will also help with the noise pollution. As you can see here, because of the roads, the houses are being pushed back a little from the commercial building, so the noise pollution is at a minimum level. But always place the road after the construction has started, otherwise the buildings are gonna orient themselves in all directions, or it will spawn two smaller buildings back to back like these gas stations right here. Now let's address another situation where you only want one type of commercial building because they are split into three main types: shops, motels and gas stations. So for this one, I'm gonna take this example. Here I have the shore with a beach that runs along this avenue. So for the leisure part of the beach area, I only want to have shops, restaurants, cafes and you name it. But instead, I randomly got not one, not two, but 4 gas stations. And now comes the question, how do I only get one type of building? Well, the only way is to paint the lots individually with the help of a spreadsheet I made containing all kinds of information about commercial and office buildings, like their lot size, type and height, which you can easily access by clicking the link in the description below. Now, if you look at the spreadsheet, you will see buildings rated with G, M or both. This means that besides a shop, restaurant or cafe, let's call these default commercial buildings from now on, the game will also choose to spawn a gas station or a motel. So if you only want to have default commercial buildings in your area, just avoid those lot sizes completely so you can be 100% sure that no motels or gas stations will ever spawn. But if you still want to use those lot sizes, just let the buildings finish construction, and if you got anything else than a default building, just bulldoze it and let it spawn again. Also, if you want to get a gas station or a motel, just repeat the same process but this time bulldoze the default type until you get your desired type of commercial building. But the way I like to use them in City Skylines 2 is to build shopping centers. With the addition of the parking lots as a vanilla feature, I'd say it's pretty much easier and faster for everyone to build some of these because in the real world, these kind of buildings are everywhere around us. I want them all to be accessible from this small road, so I'm gonna start here. So, to build one, we are gonna use the medium parking lot because it's the only parking lot without a fence and the 1-unit 2-lane road, also called alley, to build the spine of the parking area. And on the contour, paint some commercial lots present on the spreadsheet and use the unique buildings if you have some unlocked and if they fit well. Add some beautification. As you can see, I'm already using some mods, and if you want me to make a video about what I think are some essential mods, please let me know in the comments. To be able to fill the corner area, build some smaller roads in the back of the buildings, like I said above, to help with the goods, the personnel, garbage, etc. And I'm gonna fill the corner area with a low density office to act like the main building. And voila! We've got ourselves a nice commercial center, and they can come in all shapes and sizes, it's all up to you. The next type of zone I want to talk about is the low-density office buildings, because they fit really well with the low-density commercial as the high commercial and high office do, so we'll talk about them later. I like to scatter the office buildings all across my city so I can create workspaces everywhere, so the citizens don't have to travel too much to go to work because they don't produce any ground or air pollution, like their industrial counterparts. Also, like in real life, it's nice to have all kinds of buildings that offer all kinds of services at every step. The best way to use them is to place them along with the low commercial buildings as they have a similar look and feel. When zoning these types of buildings, don't just fill the entire area, because they will look all crumbled and disorganized. Just leave some space between them and use a lot of small roads and pathways in the back of them because like the commercial, these also have all sorts of back doors and it will help to make them feel more connected. Also, use the spreadsheet to zone the exact lot area that will fit your block. And after you're done, sprinkle some vegetation around them so the workers have a nice zone to relax after lunch. Another way I like to use office and commercial buildings is to fill the transition zones between two neighborhoods, like in this area where two different angles meet, so placing houses will not make for an organized look. Here I also added some service buildings and some sports areas. Now let's start to talk about the high density buildings. These are the second and also the last categories of commercial and office buildings that you can build in City Skylines 2, with the offices being also one of the highest. Starting to build such high-density buildings will also lead to a lot of traffic, so having a nice medium or large road network around them will help to get the traffic around the city much easier. Keep in mind that this also leads to much higher needs for parking lots, so every time you plan your zoning, plan ahead the parking areas, because otherwise the streets are gonna be crowded with parked cars. High office buildings will more likely to fit in our downtown than in other areas, so after you're done the transition between small houses to the medium and low low-rent apartment buildings, you can start to add some combinations between these ones and the high residential buildings, while also checking the spreadsheet to ensure a smooth height curve like I've talked about in the first episode. The high commercial can be used to fill up the spaces between the bigger office and residential buildings regardless of their height. Don't forget to make all kinds of small roads and pathways for the citizens so they can get quickly around the city on foot, while keeping in mind some green areas like parks or interior courtyards. Take note that this category also contains multiple types of buildings, like the low density does. So between the high commercial buildings that can be shops, cafes, restaurants, etc., there is a chance that hotels will spawn for the same lot area, so watch for the ones marked with H on the spreadsheet when zoning. For example, the 6x4 or 6x6 will only be as high as L or XL if it spawns a default building, but if a hotel spawns in that area, you may find yourself with a super tall building. Oh, and don't forget about the mixed residential buildings that can be found in the residential tab, because they also serve as commercial buildings as well as residential, so you can sprinkle a few here and there if you feel like it. And put the unique buildings to good use as you unlock them, because they will help to step up your downtown area a lot. If you learned anything from this video and enjoyed my tips, please hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned for the next episode where I will teach you how to place buildings and road networks so you get the most realistic look out of your industrial zone. Until then, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you guys watching and supporting me, and I hope to see that more of you will join the community in the coming year as well. Stay safe!